We flew from Salt Lake City to Chicago, and we had a layover in Chicago, and our plane actually was broken. And so we waited on the plane for 2 hours, and then we flew from Chicago to Miami, and we were nervous because our plane was supposed to leave at like 9:05, and we landed at like 9 o'clock, and there was 10 of us in our district, all of us going to the West Indies. And we were sprinting through the Miami airport, and we got to like the terminal, and the plane was just taking off. And so here we are, just like 10 like fresh new elders, and we're all like, oh my goodness, we're in Miami, like what are we doing here? And we had one elder who had his head on straight, and he was able to get a hold of the airline, and they provided us like free room at the Marriott. And so we woke up and we had breakfast, you know, provided for us, and we were just like, oh, this is the life, you know, like getting treated well. But eventually, like, we got to Trinidad the next morning, and the very distinct thing you'll notice, you step off the plane and it feels like you're taking a bath because of the humidity. So going from Utah, where it's just dry weather and it's hot, I stepped into the Caribbean, where it's humid weather and it's still super hot. And so your skin is just always wet. And that was at first very difficult to get used to, just because it was kind of an uncomfortable feeling. But after that, we just kind of had a fireside, and we got to learn where we were going to be serving. And I was assigned to Rose Hall, Guyana. And the first thing to know about Guyana is there's essentially two different areas that you can serve in. There's the capital, which is Georgetown, and I think there's about 6 or 7 branches that are in Georgetown, and then there's Berbice, which is more of the countryside, and there are 6 branches there. And I served in Rose Hall, which it's the second furthest branch, pretty much away from everything and close to Suriname. And I learned, the further you got away from the capital, the harder it was to understand the people, because they're out in the countryside. And I got to my area, and my trainer was a local, and he had been baptized a 1.5 years previous. And so he'd been on his mission for about 6 months. He's a convert of 1.5 years, and here I am in this country where I can't understand anybody. I'm having a hard time understanding my trainer, and I'm just in the countryside. And it was overwhelming at first, because I felt like I thought I was going to an English-speaking country, and the people didn't really speak. They spoke English, but it was broken English. And so that was a little bit difficult at the beginning. It probably took me about like 3 weeks to a month until I actually felt comfortable with sitting there listening to them, that I could pick up the words and the phrases that they were saying.